Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. My sworn enemy Shen Yue fell into ruin and became my delicate canary. Each day I'd slip into her bed, her face flushing crimson with anger. Yet she was forced to endure the humiliation. Until one fateful day, I caught her on the phone, her expression brimming with impatience. What did it matter if she hadn't truly gone bankrupt? Who would dare speak carelessly in her presence? They'd be finished if they tried. Shen Yue had gone bankrupt. Once an untouchable legend in the business world. Overnight, she was buried under a mountain of debt. Her former rivals, those Shed once crushed, rushed to kick her while she was down. "Miss Shen," they sneered. "Lick my shoes and I'll give you 10,000. Selling wine, they mocked. "You'll never pay off your debts in 10 lifetimes. Shen Yue merely lowered her eyes, standing there neither servile nor defiant, pitiful and fragile in her quiet strength. I strode over and slammed a stack of cash in front of the manager. I took her away from that place. She spoke softly, her voice cold. "You here to mock me too?" I turned my head aside and muttered, "What else?" Shen Yue's face darkened instantly. I pulled a prepared stack of bills from my bag and flung them at her. "Follow me and it's 10,000 a day." Her brows knitted instantly as she snapped, "What did you say?" I knew this was her anger flaring. After all, everyone in our circle knew. We'd always been at odds. And now humiliating her in her downfall like this must have driven her mad with rage. 10,000 a day, I repeated. "I'm helping you, didn't you owe a fortune in debts? Who else but me can help you now?" Seeing Shen Yue tremble with the sting of humiliation, her entire being quivering with suppressed fury, I felt an inexplicable thrill in my chest. I threw another stack of cash, bright red bills scattered across the floor. "Take it and come with me, and make me wait." Shen Yue stared at me silent. In the end, she couldn't resist the lure of money. Slowly, she knelt to the ground, her face etched with shame. She picked up the bills one by one, her movements heavy with disgrace. Her voice was low like waterlogged timber. "Gu Chuan, do you often help others like this?" I smirked and asked if she always pried into her benefactor's private life. I gave her firm backside a playful slap. "Don't ask about your master's personal affairs." Shen Yue's face grew even darker. She despised me because she scorned everyone equally. But my disdain for her stemmed only from my inability to have her. After all, her face was as striking as a Swordomon from some game. Her full alluring figure made my mouth water just looking at her. I had thought I'd spend my life resentfully coveting her from the shadows. Who could imagine such an opportunity would arise? She must have truly owed a fortune. She was obedient the whole way, terrified I might cast her aside. Even when fresh from a bath, I pinned her beneath me. She only turned her head away, refusing to meet my gaze. I gripped her chin, forcing her to look into my eyes. "Shen Yue, you know what a kept canary does, don't you?" Her emotions surged, the corners of her eyes tinged red. After a long pause, she grudgingly murmured a response. I pushed her back. "Then kiss me from here to here." When she saw where I pointed, her face flushed with fury in an instant. Her sensitive lips trembled faintly. Unwilling, I narrowed my eyes. I lifted my leg as if to climb off her. "Then I want to help you with your debts." But a slender hand quickly grabbed my ankle. Shen Yue's voice was hoarse, barely audible. "I can do it." The power of money proved impossible for her to resist. She rose and knelt beside me, her face full of humiliation as she leaned down. Her lips brushed my collarbone. Light as a feather, her kisses trailed downward. Was she really this skilled? I couldn't help but tense my toes, grabbing her hair in a sudden grip. She paused, looking up innocently. "What's wrong?" I struggled to steady my trembling voice. "That's enough for now. I couldn't handle any more." Shen Yue's lips seemed to curve into a faint arc. Fine, though my heart roared like a ravenous wolf. My actual experience was next to nothing. I never expected Shen Yue to be so skilled. A bit of money and I was already calling a halt. What kind of benefactor was I losing face like this? I needed to establish my authority. I had to set things straight. Resolved to discipline my wayward canary, I glared at Shen Yue, who I'd just sent to tidy furniture, and barked, "Why are you wearing so much at home? Take it off!" Shen Yue froze mid-motion. She was only wearing a single shirt. Removing it would leave her in just her undergarments. Her beautiful features flushed with color. Though she said nothing, her expression screamed defiance. I unleashed my trump card, unwilling, then returned the money. She gritted her teeth in frustration, reluctantly setting aside what she held. Under my smug gaze, she gnashed her teeth and peeled off her shirt. As I studied her closely, I realized Shen Yue's figure was truly captivating. Full where it mattered, slender where it should be, her lines smooth and flowing. Under my unabashed predatory stare, Shen Yue's face burned red with anger. "Gu Juan," she shouted my name, furious. Yet she was utterly powerless. She turned and stormed into the bathroom to hide. I followed without hesitation, watching as water splashed while she washed her hands, droplets landing on her full-rounded peaks. Trembling with each breath she took, tempting to the point of breaking all rules. She was practically begging me to lose control. I licked my lips. "Shen Yue, come here and let me touch." She instantly went on guard, wary of my intentions. I preempted her, unwilling, then returned the money. She could only glare at me with resentful, humiliated eyes, closing them in resignation. Turning to face me, teeth clenched, I nodded, satisfied. The moment my fingers brushed her skin, I felt her body tremble faintly, soft and supple, a delight to touch. Ignoring her expression, I let my hands wander downward. The further I went, the redder Shen Yue's face became. Her whole body quaked. Her breathing grew rapid. By the end, as I kneaded and explored further, she let out a muffled groan. "Gu Chuan." I pressed a finger to her lips with my other hand. "Can you stop calling your benefactor by name?" "Then what should I call you?" she snapped. "Call me Master Shen Yue." Her face looked ready to explode with rage. In the end, she didn't call me master. But truth be told, I didn't have that kind of fetish. I was just teasing her. Tormenting her like this already brought me immense satisfaction. Every way I could think of to bully her, I tried on Shen Yue. When my friend Fang Yuan came to visit, she had already submitted, resigned to her fate, wearing an apron, cleaning the house like some perfect housewife. Fang Yuan's eyes widened in shock. He pulled me aside, whispering, "You're really making Shen Yue serve you like this?" I shrugged. "She's bankrupt. What else can she do?" Fang Yuan's face was tense. Even if she's bankrupt, someone like Shen Yue could find 1,000 ways to rise again. I thought his worries were pointless. He hadn't seen Shen Yue humiliated by those vultures. If she had any tricks left, how could she have fallen so far? I was confident, no way. She's truly done for this time. Seeing Fang Yuan still skeptical, I called out to Shen Yue nearby. "Shen Yue, come here. Tell Fang Yuan yourself what you are to me now." She walked over obediently at first, but the moment she heard my demand, her head snapped up, her face a storm of humiliation and reluctance. I glared at her, unimpressed. "What's the holdup? You took my money, too shy to admit it now." Mentioning the money left her no choice. She stopped in front of me, eyes lowered, her voice hoarse and strained as she whispered, "I'm your canary." Fang Yuan watched from the side. His jaw practically hit the floor. I grinned smugly. "See, told you. No lies here." Want to touch her to prove it. When he saw me move to touch Shen Yue again, he stammered in panic, "No, no, no need." After Shen Yue turned back to cleaning, Fang Yuan's mouth twitched as he spoke. "Shen Yue, selling herself for money. I still can't believe it. What do you make her do every day?" I hesitated, mumbling, "She's mine. No, what else would she do?" Fang Yuan glanced at her again. It took him visible effort to accept it. He sighed, "Fine. Shen Yue, if this is real, you've struck gold. Lucky dog, eating so well." Not long after my friend left, word spread that Shen Yue was at my place. The group chat went wild, pinging me. "Gu Juan, are you insane? You dare mess with Shen Yue? What the hell did you do to her? Even bankrupt Shen Yue wouldn't sell herself, would she? Gu Juan, a beauty like Shen Yue, watch your health." The last message made me swallow. I hadn't yet seen that part of Shen Yue. Was she really a white tiger? I watched her in the bathroom, diligently scrubbing my underwear, my mind wandering to forbidden places. Shen Yue must have felt my stare. She finally turned back exasperated. What the hell are you looking at? As per my orders, she wore only a maid outfit. Her skin so fair against the fabric, her movements only accentuating her allure. Shen Yue finally noticed where my eyes lingered. She covered herself in embarrassment and anger. Gu Chuan, she snapped, caught me staring. I felt a twinge of guilt, but quickly recovered. I was her benefactor now. What couldn't I look at? She dared to challenge me. I shouted back, what's with the yelling? You're mine now. That's my property. What's wrong with me looking? I'm not just looking, I'm going to touch. Shen Yue never expected me to be so blunt. Her breath caught face flushing red again. I marched forward full of bravado. What did I say? Feeling guilty. Or maybe you're just all looks and no substance. If you're useless, I'll return you. My words shifted her expression, but as the last syllable landed, she suddenly gave a cold laugh. Like she'd made up her mind. She began undressing as she walked toward me. Fine, want to see if I'm useless. Look, you're Phil. I was completely caught off guard. I could only watch as Shen Yue stripped, taking 3 quick steps to stand before me. My mind went blank. She reached out and yanked my pants down. A loud knock at the door suddenly rang out. In that moment, I clung to it like a lifeline, not daring to glance at Shen Yue again. I scrambled to the door, stumbling. Who is it coming? I opened it. A stylishly dressed young man stood outside. Is Shen Yue here? He demanded. I recognized him as Qiaoning, the Qiao family's heir. He and Shen Yue had been close before, my heart still racing from earlier. I stepped back quickly, pointing toward Shen Yue. She's here, Qiaoning shoved past me. Shen Yue somehow had already thrown her clothes back on, even adding an extra top, but she still clutched my underwear. She hadn't put it down. Qiaoning saw what she held. His anger flared instantly. How could you make Sister Yue do this? I scratched my head. Honestly, I didn't ask her to wash it. She did it on her own. Shen Yue didn't even glance at us. She turned back to the bathroom, resuming her washing at the sink. Qiaoning's heart ached for her. He rushed over, pulling her away. Sister Yue, don't degrade yourself like this. How much is he paying you? I'll double it. Leave this place. My heart sank. I knew Qiaoning's family was richer than mine. If he outbid me, I couldn't compete. I crept cautiously to Shen Yue's side, looking at her pleadingly, my earlier arrogance gone. Now utterly meek. I should have treated her better. What if she thought me poor and foolish, and chose another benefactor? But Shen Yue glanced at me, and said to Qiaoning coolly, no need. In that moment my world lit up. Shen Yue, the great Shen Yue, as my newly acquired canary. Wasn't she just a perfect? Qiaoning grew frantic. What hold does he have over you? Tell me. I can help you. Shen Yue kept working diligently. Her tone calm, no hold, no leverage. I took his money. I have to endure his whims. I listened, deeply moved. Worthy of the woman I craved. So principled. I nodded eagerly. Exactly. I paid, so you should leave. But Qiaoning only grew more heartbroken. He glared at me. With your measly wealth, how much could you possibly give Sister Yue? You dare use money to humiliate her. How long have you kept Sister Yue? I'll match it and take her away. I swallowed hard, nervous. Shen Yue was still washing my clothes, her focus unwavering. I stood there unsure how to respond. I froze, realizing it was my first time as a benefactor. I hadn't yet developed the habit of paying first and checking the goods later. Counting the money from the bar, I'd only given Shen Yue a total of 30,000, enough to keep her for just 3 days. Shen Yue seemed to recall this too. Her gaze slid over me. The corner of her lips slowly curved into a faint smile. I almost forgot Mr. Gu only paid for 3 days. Tomorrow I'll be a free woman. She stared at me. Right, Mr. Gu? My heart pounded with sudden alarm. Before I could respond, Qiaoning let out a mocking laugh and tossed out a card. Gu Chuan, you're too stingy. There's 200,000 here. In taking you away early. I stiffened, protesting. I don't agree. Even renting a house comes with priority rights. What gives you the right to snatch her? He sneered and flung out another card. 500,000. You think I'm that kind of person? Am I that broke? 2 million, take it or leave it. No need to add more me families loaded. This kind of money doesn't even catch my eye. 5 million, enough, stop right there. 20 million, I fell silent at 20 million. My monthly allowance was only 400,000. That could last me for years. I was ready to fight these rich bastards. Xiaoning saw my mouth twitch, speechless. He smirked triumphantly. See Yue. He can't afford to keep you. I looked at Shen Yue. A wave of helplessness washed over me. If I kept her, I'd have to sacrifice so much of my allowance each month. If I sold her to Xiaoning, I wouldn't need to ask my family for money for 4 years. If I got to have Shen Yue tonight and handed her over to Xiaoning tomorrow, it didn't seem like a bad deal. Shen Yue's calm, composed face cracked slightly as she saw my conflicted expression. I tentatively suggested to Xiaoning, how about you come back tomorrow? Shen Yue cut me off coldly. Enough. What do you both take me for? She turned to Xiaoning, her expression stern. Mr. Xiao, with such a generous offer, are you deliberately humiliating me? I may be bankrupt and fallen, but I still have my dignity. I'm not some commodity to be traded between you. She turned to me. Since Mr. Gu also sees me as a mere transaction, I'll leave tomorrow. I'll earn my own money with my own hands and stop degrading myself. With that, Shen Yue stormed off and locked herself in the bathroom, leaving me and Xiaoning outside, staring at each other at a loss. We apologized and tried to sweeten her, but she ignored us completely. Xiaoning spoke to her through the door for a long time, before finally leaving dejected. I stared at the frosted glass, her faint silhouette barely visible. I called out softly, Shen Yue, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. She let out a cold huff. I kept explaining, I brought you home. I bought you so many things. Of course I see you as mine. She finally spoke, her voice laced with a bitter laugh after 2 hours of silence. When Xiaoning offered 20 million, you can't say you weren't tempted to sell me. I stammered, that was 20 million. I'm not as rich as him. Can I be tempted for a moment? Knowing I was in the wrong, I apologized quietly. Shen Yue, I'm sorry. Since you've come home with me, I promise no matter how much anyone offers, I won't be swayed again. But she replied darkly, what if it's 100 million? I fell silent. And test me like that. Shen Yue's pride was wounded again. Her tone carried a trace of sorrow. Fine, I understand. I didn't know what to say. I could only pace anxiously in the living room, shouting helplessly for the 8th time, I'm so hungry. Shen Yue finally emerged, her face cold, and made me dinner, then locked herself in the guest room with my brother's old chair, her resolve unshakable. I realized she was serious about leaving tomorrow. With no way to sway her, I gave up. I threw caution to the wind. Shen Yue, even if you're leaving tomorrow, don't forget you're still mine today. As my canary for the day, you have to fulfill your duties. The room fell silent for a moment. A faint voice drifted out, what do you want? I didn't hesitate, I want to sleep with you. Before, her skills were too much. I hadn't lasted long enough to truly have her. Now that she was leaving, I had to make the most of it. 2 minutes later, the guest room door creaked open. Shen Yue stood there in a lace nightgown, her curves glowing temptingly in the warm light. Are you sure? My gaze dropped and I swallowed hard. Her resolve to leave must have been firm. She didn't argue or resist, just ready to stand her final post. She proved she wasn't just beautiful, but incredibly skilled. So skilled I nearly lost myself in ecstasy. After 5 rounds, one collapsed exhausted. She kissed my ear, her low sultry voice lingering in my ear. Didn't you say at least 7 times? Her master's ragged breaths mingled with the warm touch of her lips. I was ready to go again. The next morning I woke to an empty bed. Calling Shen Yue's name brought no response. The house held new items, things I'd bought for her, yet it felt hollow and empty. Shen Yue was gone. I finally accepted the truth. Last night we'd been so close, tangled together, yet today she left without a trace of attachment. Sure, I'd briefly considered selling her, but did she have to be so heartless? After pacing the house anxiously, I slumped onto the sofa defeated. My mind replayed the past 2 days, ordering Shen Yue around, Her curves so perfect to touch. Her competence unmatched. And I'd driven her away. I let out a long sigh, opened my phone, hoping to scroll through some spicy videos to cheer up. But my friends had flooded me with messages. Guju on, check this out, what's going on? Didn't you have Shen Yue under your thumb? Why's she delivering food now? And so unlucky. She got sent to that sketchy neighborhood full of rich brats. God, I feel so bad for her. It hit me. Why ancient scholars loved saving fallen women. I wanted to save her too. At the bottom was a video. In it at some neighborhood gate, Shen Yue wore a kangaroo helmet, dressed in a delivery uniform, her pants torn into places, surrounded by expensively dressed socialites pointing and mocking. What's this about a car accident? You're 13 minutes late on the platform's order. Miss Shen, why are you dawdling? Playing pitiful for who? Exactly, no complaints. If you kneel and apologize to my sister, that'll settle it. How expensive are you, huh? Shen Yue kept her head down, enduring, apologizing repeatedly. More fragile than when I saw her at the bar. My heart ached and I shot to my feet. Damn it. They dared bully my canary like this. I could tolerate Shen, but not this. I demanded to know when this happened. My friend replied it was just now. The neighborhood looked familiar, right next door to mine. I grabbed my keys and rushed out. When I arrived, the humiliation was still ongoing. In broad daylight under clear skies. Was no one going to stop this? I shouted, stop it. All eyes turned to me. I pulled a stack of cash from my bag and threw it. What's with the noise? So what if she's 13 minutes late? Don't you know she's mine? She had a little fight with me and came out to deliver food. Since when is it your turn to bully her? I'll cover your damn food and throw in a tip. Take it and get lost unless you want to make headlines. The socialites initially dismissive saw me, and their expressions shifted. Sure, my father's company wasn't the biggest, but my mother's third-generation elite background was untouchable. Almost no one in our circle dared cross me. They whispered among themselves, shot me a resentful glare, and left. Shen Yue stood there still composed, like a delicate white flower in a storm. I reached out, gently touching the dirt on her face. Shen Yue, see, isn't it better to come home with me? You're getting bullied out here. She pressed her lips together, stubbornly silent. Only then did I notice the edges of her torn pants stained with blood. There seemed to be a wound beneath. I reached to touch it, but Shen Yue gasped in pain. I startled, does it hurt that bad? She nodded instinctively, then shook her head, sniffling, why do you care? I rushed to explain, of course I care. I came running to save you. Doesn't that show my sincerity? Let me see how bad it is. She still resisted my touch, stiffening, aren't I just your little toy? If I'm broken, just replace me. What's there to see? Her words were cold, but her tone carried a trace of a sob, like an abandoned, prideful child. I hurried to clarify, no way. I said I'd keep you and I'll take responsibility. Stop delivering food. Come home with me. Shen Yue bit her lip, looking at me, her eyes slowly filling with grievance. Go home with you only for someone to offer a better price, and you'll sell me off. She was clearly still hung up on that. Having just gone through bankruptcy, betrayal was likely her greatest fear. My heart ached more. Trust me, even if someone offers $1 billion, I'd never sell you, I swear. Really? Really? Shen Yue reluctantly followed me home. Something occurred to me. I turned back to warn her. By the way, Shen Yue, even though I'm the one asking you back, you're still my canary. Your duties don't change. Clearly, I was the benefactor. Yet by the end, I sounded increasingly unsure. Shen Yue just looked at me quietly, then nodded fine. Her agreement was docile. I felt a fleeting daze. I mumbled a request. Then take off your top when we're home. Shen Yue froze, but quickly caught on. She glared at me, cheeks puffed with anger. Still, she silently removed her top. Is this good enough? Perfect, perfect, I nodded eagerly. And the pants? I was about to remind her to change her pants when I saw Shen Yue, already leaning back on the sofa, shedding her delivery pants and slipping into the maid outfit. She looked up at my words. What? My mind flashed back to what I'd just seen, recalling certain moments. My face heated up. I stammered, nothing. I'll grab the first aid kit. I hadn't realized Shen Yui's pain tolerance was so low. Her knees had 2 wounds from a bike crash. When the first applied medicine, she winced with every touch. It left me no choice. I dab on some ointment, then gently blow on the wound. Only then would she stop whimpering. As I put away the first aid kit, I couldn't help but say seriously, "Who's the canary here?" She looked at me innocently. Isn't it me taking off my clothes and working at home? I was speechless. Fair point. She wasn't wrong, because Shen Yue never wore a top at home again, strutting around in her undergarments daily, obediently following my requests, letting me touch and tease, working diligently. Sometimes my demands made her flush red with anger, but she had no choice. She endured in silence. I watched her face red with suppressed frustration. My heart secretly thrilled. But my days of living like a god didn't last long. My father suddenly stormed in, because the news of me keeping Shen Yue had spread like wildfire through our circle. Some rich heirs envied me for getting to her first, but far more were Shen Yue's old enemies from her days dominating the business world. Her methods had always been sharp and decisive. Shed once ruled unchallenged. No one dared speak against her. But after her fall, those Shed offended couldn't sit still. By keeping Shen Yue, I not only eased her debt burden, but shielded her from much of their malice. Yet in doing so, I'd unknowingly become a target of their hatred. And the business world's tactics were always ruthless. My father was directly slandered. He clutched his chest, pleading, "Let's not keep her." Okay. I stared at our company's plummeting green stocks, shocked and torn. After all, I'd just promised Shen Yue that I'd take responsibility for her. Who could foreseen this mess? My father showed me the company's state. Every employee was on edge, living in a constant state of fear, dreading unemployment. Among them were uncles and aunts who'd watched me grow up. Their worried faces weighed heavily on me. I felt the pressure mounting, torn between my promise and the company's fate. My father's white hairs had multiplied. Guilt gnawed at me. My selfish desires had dragged so many others down with me. I couldn't ignore my family, yet I didn't know how to tell Shen Yue. She remained blissfully unaware, moving through the dining room in her usual undergarments, preparing 3 dishes and a soup, all my favorites. Normally such a perfect meal would earn her a playful grope as a reward, but today I only managed a few heavy-hearted bites. Before retreating to my bedroom, I lay in bed, my mind wandering for hours. A figure slipped into the room. The mattress dipped slightly behind me. A familiar scent of jasmine enveloped me. I stayed still for a long moment. Shen Yue's soft voice broke the silence. "What's wrong today?" "Not in the mood." I hadn't figured out how to explain, so I mumbled, "My time of the month is coming." She must sense my gloom, silently lifting the covers to slide in and hold me. Her hands gently caressed my chest, rhythmic and soft. The warmth of her palms seemed to seep through my thin pajamas into my skin. Soon I was too comfortable to resist. "Shen Yue, what's wrong?" I asked. "Want to call me master again?" she teased. A few more days passed. My father still had no solution. The stocks kept plummeting. I couldn't delay any longer. I rehearsed outside several times how to tell Shen Yue I couldn't keep her anymore. Taking a deep breath, I pushed open the bedroom door. Shen Yue sat at the computer, her back to me. The screen glowed. It was a search page. As I approached, I saw clearly. Bold letters at the top: "Canary Guide, how to keep your benefactor's heart." I was stunned. Shen Yue quickly closed the tab, turning to me. "What?" I pointed at the screen. "You were looking at too." Saw it. Her cheeks flushed. I hesitated, unsure whether to admit I'd seen. She sighed. "No choice. You've been less and less interested in me lately. No touching, no hugging, no sleeping. I feel like I'm about to lose my job," she said, her voice softening. By the end, she sounded almost aggrieved. "Have you found someone better outside?" I blinked, caught off guard. I haven't found anyone. But she really was about to lose her job. How could I say it? My hesitation was plain for Shen Yue to see. She lowered her eyes. "So it's true, isn't it?" "It's fine, I get it. I never believed your promises anyway, that you'd never abandon me. People always chase what's new." "I understand." It's just after that mess with the delivery platform. I'm not sure if I can go back smoothly. She pursed her lips. Her eyes glinted with stubborn defiance. It's okay, I'll figure it out myself. Her strength stirred a wave of guilt in me. I pulled her into a tight embrace. Shinyue, I'm sorry, I said. Her body stiffened instantly. The air around us seemed to grow colder. I really can't keep supporting you, because by keeping you, my father's company is being targeted and might collapse. I like you a lot, but I can't abandon my family. The chill in the air seemed to lift. Shinyue asked, what? I sighed helplessly. I can't ignore my family. My father's company is being targeted and might collapse. That part. No, the one before. The part where you said you like me. You like me and then what? She let out a soft chuckle. Returning my embrace gently, that's enough. Shinyue needed time to find a new place. She couldn't move out that day. But since Wed cleared the air, my burdens lifted. I seized every moment before she left, determined to make the most of her. After all, I wouldn't get to fool around with her like this again. Shinyue seemed to sense my intentions, working even harder. So diligently, I felt I couldn't live without her. I told my father I needed a few more days. He was understanding, but miraculously, after that day, our company's stocks started turning red. I was puzzled Letty hadn't told anyone I was letting Shinyue go. How was it working so quickly? Stranger things kept happening. The companies targeting us were hit one by one with tax issues, product problems, all sorts of scandals. They were too busy to bother us anymore. My father called me, laughing like a cartoon villain. Hey, ha ha. This is what they get. Karma. Hey, ha ha ha. I tested the waters, so can I keep her? His laughter stopped abruptly. But Gu Chuan, once they sort out their mess, they'll come after us again. We're not in the clear yet. I turned to see Shinyue mopping diligently. I touched her firm backside wistful. In a couple of days, I won't get to do this anymore. Touch me more then. She nodded obediently, okay. But 2 days later, the companies targeting us declared bankruptcy one after another. My father was dumbfounded. How could this happen? Those weren't small players. How did they fall so fast? I shrugged. I don't know business, show what I know. My heart was full of excitement at staying with Shinyue. I brushed him off and hung up to rush back to my room. But before I opened the door, I heard voices inside. Since Shinyue's bankruptcy, no one but her mockers had contacted her. Who was she talking to? Curiosity got the better of me. I pressed my ear to the door, just catching Shinyue's casual voice. What does it matter if I didn't go bankrupt? Who dares talk nonsense in my presence? They're done for. My brain froze. Not bankrupt, who wasn't bankrupt? Shinyue. The Shinyue I'd been toying with every day. The shock was so great that when I heard footsteps inside, I didn't react in time to move. Standing dumbly at the door, I locked eyes with Shinyue as she opened it. I stood there petrified. She looked slightly uneasy. Finish your family call already. I stammered, yeah. She sensed something off. Did you hear something? I denied it vehemently. No, I didn't hear anything. She narrowed her eyes. Then why are you so nervous? I turned to flee. I'm not. I'm just happy. I'm hungry. I need the bathroom. Before I could take a step, Shinyue grabbed my wrist and pulled me back. She leaned into my arms, chuckling. Gu Chuan, did you know? Your little ear-tugging habit when you lie is painfully obvious. My vision went darky, was done for. Her tone was unmistakably that of someone who hadn't gone bankrupt, thinking of everything I'd done to her. I wanted to disappear from shame. You let me go. But her hands tightened around my waist. What's wrong? She asked, serious. Didn't you beg me not to leave last night? The mention of last night made me crumble. No more, please. You're not bankrupt and you let me keep you as my canary. How could you? She leaned up, nibbling my earlobe. Gu Chuan, who's the pervert here? You who insisted on keeping me, or me who went along with it? I slapped a hand over her mouth. That was my kindness, my compassion. I didn't want my rival suffering out there. My slap didn't faze her. Instead, she licked my palm. The warm, sticky sensation sent shivers through me, my hair standing on end. Shen Yue smiled slyly, didn't want me to suffer. There were plenty of ways to help. Why'd you choose this one, Gu Chuan? I was losing it, but still fought back. I wanted to torment you, humiliate you. She let out a lazy hum. Gu Chuan, are you sure that was humiliation, not a reward? I remembered bullying her. Her flushed face, her red ears, her trembling body. It wasn't anger. My scalp tingled. Shen Yue, you're the pervert. She kissed my throat. Don't you like it, Gu Chuan? Her tongue deliberately teased my sensitive spots. I couldn't hold out. I scooped her up in my arms. It'll make you regret this today. Shen Yue dropped the act completely, no longer respecting my benefactor's dignity, not even pretending. The next day, I couldn't get out of bed. I buried myself in the covers, refusing to come out, until Shen Yue brought fragrant breakfast to my bedside. I peeked out, cursing, using food to seduce me. You're despicable. She grinned leisurely. Even when you curse, you're cute, Gu Chuan. My face flushed. Enough, shut up. You fake bankruptcy liar. She looked innocent. I didn't mean to deceive you. I rolled my eyes. Ha. Since you're not bankrupt, don't tell me you couldn't handle those people bullying you. She blinked. That part's true. I raised my hand to swat her. She continued. Faking bankruptcy was to lure those people out. I froze. What do you mean? Shen Yue sighed, patiently explaining. It turned out some time ago, she had noticed internal issues in her company. Her dominance in our circle had bred plenty of suspicion. Many flattered her to her face but schemed behind her back. So she faked her bankruptcy to draw out everyone with ill intentions and to test who around her was truly trustworthy. Who knew I'd be the first to pounce like a greedy cat? I flushed, trying to drag her down with me. What about you? You didn't resist the temptation either. I said I'd keep you and you just followed. Shen Yue nodded, unabashed. What's wrong with that? I liked you, so I wanted to go with you. Is that not allowed? I was even more flustered, barely able to speak. What did you say? Shen Yue leaned up and kissed my forehead. I said I like you, Gu Chuan. I've liked you for a long time. She said, her high and mighty attitude came from when we were kids, and I posted a dramatic manifesto on my QQ space. Young and foolish-eyed, written in my partner criteria. Cold academic genius with a sense of humor. Shen Yue took it to heart, studying hard to maintain her scholar image, and ignoring the world to keep up her aloof persona. But later my glares at her grew tinged with frustration. She wondered what went wrong. I laughed until my sides hurt for real. She nodded faintly. Why would I lie? I pressed, skeptical. Then why did you insist on leaving before? I couldn't stop you. She sighed. Because I wasn't sure back then what you really felt about me. If you'd sold me off to someone else, I'd have nowhere to turn. Then why'd you go deliver food? She shrugged, just to play pitiful, to see if I could catch your attention. Damn it, when I told my friends, they weren't surprised at all. Just gave me a look like I was an idiot. I'd already guessed. I just didn't dare say. Only you'd believe Shen Yue would sell herself to a man. Their words stunned Menem. It really made me look stupid. So, I took all my frustration out on Shen Yue. She didn't get mad or annoyed, just smiled faintly, watching me nip at her chest. Later I brought Shen Yue back home. My father was moved to tears. Had always wanted to consult on secrets to running a company. Failing to make ours top tier had always been his regret. Shen Yue didn't hold back, sharing her strategies generously. My father was so thrilled he patted her shoulder, wanting to swear brotherhood with her. Shen Yue refused in a panic. No way. If I become your sibling, wouldn't that mess up things with Gu Chuan? My father looked at her, then at me, sighing. Fine. On the way back, Shen Yue kept asking for rewards. Her smugness irritated me, so I slapped her firm backside. Is this reward enough? But my hand was caught and a figure pressed close, followed by a flood of kisses. No, this is enough. She spoke softly. Shen Yue, she licked her lips. Gu Chuan, I still like it when you say you'll keep me. I snapped. I can't afford to keep you. I'm easy to keep. How easy? 3 times a day is enough. Shen Yue, you pervert. She laughed unfazed, her eyes sparkling with mischief. You don't like it. I couldn't argue. Her kisses were relentless. I surrendered to her, my heart racing. Fine, I'll keep you. She grinned good. You won't regret it. I'm worth every moment. Shenue, you absolute fiend.